order. And I have a motion moved by David Molson and seconded by Don B. Marshall. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby returns to open session of Council at 10:02 a.m. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Now, Mark, let the minutes show that only those matters that went into closed session were the only matters that were discussed, and that correspondence and direction to staff from closed session go out. So there'll be a couple of letters and correspondence going out to a matter that we spoke about. Is that clear enough? Okay. Very good. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting and seconded by John Eccles. Be it resolved that items A1 to C1 inclusive contained in Part 1 consent agenda be adopted, and further that authorization be given for the actions to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Any questions on the consent motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. So Mark, you can pass out those motions to take action. We have no public meetings. Future meetings are listed there. And communications from Mayor and Council. Any communications from any of the council members? Councillor Lawrence. Carol?
Thank you. I just want to report that the Newstead Rec Committee had a very successful strawberry supper a week ago Sunday. 350 paid admission, so it was quite busy and very, very good.
Strawberries were delicious. I was able to get there. Anything else from anybody? Bev, Councillor Cutting.
Yes, I know there was a fundraiser for the wind turbine group, Eastern Wind Turbine Group, and it was an extremely successful day. Thank you to the few of you that came out and supported it. And I don't know whether you won the silent auction or not, Mr. Mayor, but yes, you did. Oh, you did. Good.
I did too. Okay. I outbid them there.
Both winners.
Both
okay.
winners.
And they did a phenomenal job. Lots of people through. It was a very hot day, but beautiful. No rain, no wind. It was perfect. And they raised over $6,000. So they did a very good job. A lot of work with in the community went into organizing and everything else. So it was very good.
Make mention of Wind Sail 2 that's coming up?
Yes, Wind Sail 2 is coming up. I was going to maybe be a little more specific at the next meeting because it's sometime in August.
Yes.
So we don't know yet. And it will be in Durham at one of the parking lots. A church parking lot is given permission, but we're not sure where, so, or who, or when, or why, or anything else.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe it'd be out in Gunnell at one of the church parking lots, but all right. Sounds like it. Very good. Okay. Anything else? Since our last meeting, we've celebrated Canada Day. Durham Loves Canada Day, put on by the West Grey Durham Lions Club, was a very big success on the 28th, and Priceville on July 1st out at Stoddard Hall had an excellent fireworks display, and entertainment at both sessions was tremendous and well attended. It's one of those things that Priceville has a traffic jam once a year, and it's always on July 1st. So we had about, the estimates were somewhere around 3,500 people in Priceville on the Tuesday night, and maybe north of that here in Durham on Saturday night. The festivities were well attended. So congratulations to both groups for putting that on. I did enjoy the strawberry social in Newstead on the following day, on the 29th. Just like to say Congratulations to our West Grey Fire Department, specifically the Durham Fire Department for participating in a walk a mile in her shoes, a fundraising activity and awareness activity held in Owen Sound each year by a number of our emergency measure groups. And the Durham firemen have participated in it for a couple of years. This year it was in the Hairston Park, and the gentleman put on high heels, red high heels, to bring awareness to woman abuse. And this year they successfully defended their title as being the raising the most funds. So congratulations to Rob Lino, who kind of spearheaded it, and the individuals that joined in there. So good for them. And one note, the Crawford Garden Party that's held annually will be on July the 18th in the Elmwood Community Center. So they've held it there for the last number of years because the size, it just got too big for the Crawford church, so they moved it over to the hall in Elmwood. So anybody that wants a very good meal and to socialize for a little bit, the Crawford Garden Party on July the 18th. One other thing, we have had a request, and I'm going to ask council to think about this one, and we may bring it up when we get into new business or something. But Gary Lang has sent me an email, or sent Ken an email, for the Elmwood Homecoming, and wondering if we were going to, if council would put a float in, or would be considering putting a float in for the Elmwood Homecoming. So that request is out there. And of course, one of our neighboring municipalities is having a homecoming on the August 1st weekend, which is Hanover. They participated in the Durham homecoming. They had a couple of floats in, so wondering if council, if we'll put together a float there. Carol. I believe they have themes, but I'm not 100% certain that I can give you what they are.
I'm wondering if we could ask the Parks Committee to do the float. They did volunteer to do it, and if you remember last year, I think it was the Christmas one, they did such a good job on, and you want it to look good. We can still use those, the council sitting in the canoe, because we're still the same council, and on the truck pulling it, but if we could use one for Hanover, and then, you know, same one for, and while I talk about the Parks Committee, I'd like to request that the council, over the signature of the mayor, send a letter to them for the tremendous amount of work they're doing planting flowers. A week ago Sunday, I know that Steve and Trish started at 6 o'clock in the morning in Elmwood, and we came through after the cleaned up at Newstead. It was about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Sunday night, and they were still working at the library, so they'd worked the entire day. And then yesterday, they were out, I saw them about 8:30 still planting out in the main street of Durham. Like, they've just done a tremendous job. Last night, I think Bob and Teddy Franklin were with them, and Steve and Trish, but the amount of work and hours they put in is amazing, and it's really pays off. Jack was mentioning the different people that come into the office, how they comment about the flowers in Durham. That's what they see. They say it's beautiful every place you go, in Newstead, Eaton, Elmwood. So they deserve a lot of credit, but I think we should at least give them a letter of thanks, because it's all volunteer hours. And lastly, the ice machines will be turned on in Ayton on Thursday of this week, so we'll have ice next week there.
Is anybody going to skate? Public skating, we'll open it up. Councillor Eccles may need that to get ready for the Colleen Lance Memorial Run on August the 8th. A little cross training there for your run. One last thing, I got a letter from Neil Vincent, Reeve of the Township of North Huron. The Blythe Festival, Canadian Theatre, Municipal Night is Thursday, August the 7th at the Blythe Festival Hall, and inviting all municipal staff and or council to participate with them. I've had the opportunity of being down not last year, but 2 years ago. Joanne and I went. So that is here. There's a special sponsor rate at $20 a ticket. So if anybody wants, I can give you the phone number to phone to get tickets. If you're interested in going to, the production is St. Anne's Reel. Apparently it's about a famous but washed up Dollywood rhinestone cowboy that returns to his farm near Wingham and best intentions, but ends up scrapping with his old man Walter, who used to play fiddle for the Ranch Boys on Circle 8. Starkly humorous and deeply moving. This drama is about a prodigal son and his cantankerous father, is woven with the old-time fiddle tunes. So there's a description of the theater. You love rhinestone cowboys? Well, this one's a washed-up one, so there you go, Bev. You'll be right there. So that one's on August the 7th. If we wanted to go. So, information. Any other information or council got anything to report? Bev?
Just, should we discuss whether you're going to ask the parks to do that float? Because I'm not sure of the dates, but they would need to be informed and maybe a decision back. I don't know what their schedules are for the summer. And
New business would be a wonderful place to bring that up, Bev.
all right.
Okay, I think that would be the best for us. No other news? Then we do have a presentation this morning. We have an individual who has recently retired. Retired, I believe, Steve, on June the 30th. So that's as fairly recent as we can get. Mr. Steve Torrey joins us this morning. Steve has been with the Westgrave Police since inception and the Durham Police Force before that. Well respected and is enjoying retirement away from the farm. Not only did he retire from the police service, but he sold his farm just outside of Durham here in Bentic and has moved off to the beach. Has moved to Saugeen Shores, Port Elgin specifically, and him and Esther have built a new house up there. And I was talking to Steve the other day and he's just enjoying retirement and driving his Harley. I have a gift, Steve, if you can. I'm going to come around. On behalf of the municipality, congratulations, sir. See, this is the camera over there. So if you're going to get into a political career, find out where the camera is at all times. Because you know that we do have one other retired Westbury policeman. If you can come back and get a bit of property here, you too could become a member of council. It has been done before. Mr. Thompson, what a comment.
I had to work with him for 28 years, I don't know.
I'm going to work for him with so on behalf of the municipality, it's not a golden watch, but it's the silver watch that will send you off into your retirement limelight. Thank you very much. Congratulations, sir. Just a minute, Ines. We're not ready up here.
That's good.
Oh, one other thing, Steve. We had the Police Services Board and the Police Association had a little retirement dinner the other night down in Newstead, and the chief and I were there. Chief representing the senior officers and the association, and I was there representing the board. The chief is away, but there was one present that wasn't there, and it showed up the next morning. So on behalf of the chief and the police association and the police board, your retired constable badge. So there you are. Now I guess you've got the retired badge. You are complete. You're done. Complete. Thank you very much. Take the Harley. Did you bring
I'd like to thank council for the opportunity that you've given me to work for West Grey and the town of Durham for the last 28 years. I've seen a lot of changes over the years. Some have been great, some maybe not so great. But having said that, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and I thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Now, it is an open public meeting, and you're retired, you probably don't have any, you can stay if you want.
Not time.
Get home on the bike before it gets too wet. No, I don't think there's going to be anything, if you want to go. Yep. Just to give you some information.
Thank you.
Thinking about running for council. Is there any business arising from the previous meeting? No? Okay, then we'll go down to staff reports, and we'll wait for a second or two before we can get Carrie here. On our financials. That happens when you get cap locks on. I think I could for you. Yeah. I gotta withdraw. See if I can. Okay, good morning, Carrie. I'd like to say that it's a nice and bright and sunny morning, but that wouldn't be true. So thank you for bringing your smile in and making it bright and sunny in here. First thing that we have on Carrie's report is the vouchers. The vouchers are there. In our package, and instead of going through it page by page, I'll just ask, are there any questions on the vouchers? And I didn't get a chance to ask Carrie, but I see that we have the liner for the pool in Durham, and that came in right on budget.
It's actually under what we budgeted, there was a little bit extra for some
Railing.
trim,
Trim,
yeah, to connect it into, but it was much less than what we had originally budgeted for still.
Okay. John, Councillor Eccles.
Page 5, Cedar Well estimating float loader to Feversham. Why would we be paid to take some of this loader to Feversham?
The lower the
I didn't talk to Mike. Page 5,
Talk into the mic, please.
Cedar Well float loader to Feversham.
Can we use the mic to find out what that explanation was, sir?
I understand in talking to a couple of people in the country, the loader needed to go over, that's where the mechanic is from, that does work on the loader and some of the equipment, so it went over to his shop, I understand, to get new brakes and tires put on the loader.
Yeah, it does note one of our loaders is what was being floated, so it was likely repairs.
Instead of, it's cheaper for it to take it over there for him to do the work there than have the service call. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Seeing none, I have a motion moved by John A. Bell and seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 12, 2014 of the Municipality of West Grey in the amount of $304,481.94. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. And Carrie, your second report there is, well, I'll let you present it. It is on computers and IT hardware.
Yeah, our server, it needs to be, the hardware needs to be upgraded, so we're looking at, right now it's about, I think it was 90% of the storage capacity, and we're running about 120% over our RAM. So rather than put 3,500 into this machine, which was purchased in 2009, so it's 5 years old, we're looking at buying a new server, not the software, but just the server. That'll double our storage space, or no,
Triple RAM, yeah.
yeah,
One of those two.
yeah.
Double the
Yeah,
storage,
exactly.
triple the
Storage,
RAM.
the RAM. Yeah. But yeah, so that's, I do have enough in my IT reserve. It wasn't something that we budgeted for, but I do have sufficient funding in the reserve to finance that. So looking at just getting your approval for that.
Any questions for Carrie on that? Mark?
How long, and by doubling the storage space, how long is the projection that'll last? Because you're at 90% now, that makes you at 50% basically to start. Like, was there any talk about making the storage bigger?
We hadn't talked about making it any more than that. That was sort of his recommendation based on our usage. But yeah, it's something I could go back to him and see. I'm not sure what our plan, like we don't, right now we're not looking at doing electronic document storage. If we were going to do something like that, then that's a whole nother piece.
Yeah, so I thought maybe you could look at the growth rate over the last few years and just project that out and see how long that would last. And the other question is sort of getting maybe a bit off topic, but what's stored on there?
That's our municipal software, or our accounting, general ledger. So we have that. Any desktop files, if people are doing, Word or Excel, they store it on the server. That way it gets backed up as opposed to on their hard drives.
Oh, so that's the back, it's actually a backup as opposed, because my question was leading, do we have a backup? If that crashed, where would the data be?
Yeah, we do have a backup. It gets backed up and that they'll be transferred.
Will they take it off site? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Good, thanks.
Deputy Mayor Bell, John?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So, Carrie, just one more question. Recognizing, I'm just thinking of what you might double the space for, but recognizing source water. Do you see that documents in the future? Are you going to need more storage for that kind of stuff? I'm just...
Do we know what we're doing for source water?
I don't think anybody really knows what they're per se doing just yet. Looking at the great crystal ball, though, are you confident doubling the space is going to be enough?
Go ahead.
I can certainly, get more storage on there. The price will be, what was it on there? Another couple of drives or, not sure what we're doing, how much we're housing, are you contracting? I don't really know where we're going with that at this point, but and it's something, a server, we've got about 5 years out of this one, so we're hoping to get another 5 years out of it, but yeah, it's the workhorse of the municipality. It's on 24/7, right? Everything gets stored on there, but.
Bev? Councillor Cumming?
The only thing is that maybe 5 years is long enough, because maybe at that point you want to upgrade your equipment as well. So, maybe getting more and getting 10 years out of it is not the right way to go. Maybe the right way to go is commit to 5 and get that and then upgrade.
Mark? Mr. Rath?
Yeah, so I guess just when you're at, I wasn't looking at 10, I'm just looking if we'll get to 5, but the other question is just how expandable is it and how much is each expansion pack, because maybe that's enough for 2 years, and if you can just pop another set of discs in, then we can wait till then, that's all.
And I know this is a little bit of a surprise, but in talking to Carrie last week, she had planned on the 5-year capital plan was to do it next year, but surprise, surprise, we got to 120% this year, partway through, so it was something that we were looking on doing. The problem with IT, from a county perspective, I remember it's probably 7 or 8 years ago, Jeff Hogan came to the committee at the county for our IT storage, and the big thing then was a blade storage system where you stored it on blades. Well, 2 years of that was going to be the be-all and end-all for the next 20 years. We just put in a new blade and away you go, put in a new blade and away you go. Yeah, there's new and advanced technology, and so we're on to a different storage system again. So in 5 years' time, it'll be in a cloud maybe someplace. Who knows what we'll be doing with it at that point in time. But if we can get 5 years, I think that'll be a very good amount of time out of our server. And as Gary said, it's on 24/7. It never shuts off, so 5 years for something running 24/7, good luck. We'll hope we can get there. Okay? Any other questions before I introduce the motion? I have a motion moved by Dave Molson and seconded by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the quotation from Infinity Network Solutions for a new server in the amount of $7,137.88 plus HST to be funded from the Administration IT Reserve. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. Carrie, your next one is the council remuneration. That one's there for information purposes. And we had a report the last committee meeting on from our remuneration committee, and have that information. We'll be dealing with that at the next committee of the whole meeting, I believe. The next one is basically for information as well too, but our third quarter mileage reimbursement, we're locked in with follow the county, and there's a formula there, and so it bumps it up to 49 cents or 48 and a half, weren't we? I think we were 48 and a half, and it's bumped up to 49, right?
Yeah, we were.
Okay. Anything else? Carrie? Anything?
A reminder to submit your timesheets for those of you who haven't got them in yet, please.
Oh, yes. It's that time of the month, isn't it? Any other questions for Carrie? Seeing none, and thank you very much, Carrie. We'll go down to clerk's report. Mark? What have you got for us?
Yeah, of course, the first item is regarding the contract for the Durham Arena food booth with Denise Grove. Denise has submitted information indicating a substantial loss in revenue, and therefore, of course, it's affecting her bottom line, and wondering if council would consider altering or the existing contract to reduce the lease because of the loss of revenue.
Any comments? Questions on that? Do we want to get in? Councillor Mollison. Dave?
Yes, I was talking to her the other day, and since well, not quite half, but a lot of the games have gone down to the Ayton Arena, she's lost considerable amount of revenue. It's just, I think it's when they put the West Grey minor hockey together, and she was quite happy before, but of course when you take and lose 4 or 5 tournaments and practices and games, and when you compare what they're paying at the other arena too, I think it's a reasonable request to reduce it. She enjoys doing it. She does do a good job from what I understand. So I think that the $75 a month reduction would be justified.
Okay. Carol?
Thank you. I would agree with that. I understand the they're 1 month in Durham, then 1 month in Ayton and back. That's how the minor hockey is scheduling it. So undoubtedly, she has lost some games and tournaments. And I think she does a good job. I mean, we had a problem getting people there, and she's there, she's consistent. And after all, if she's not making a profit, it's not worth her while. And I'm not sure, Ken, what is the Ayton, is it 200 down there?
I'm not exactly sure here.
Seems to me it is. It seems to me that's what it is down there, and it would be, would be consistent between the two.
Any other comments? Thoughts of it? We would have to amend and, or amend the bylaw or do a new contract type of thing with her. If council is in agreement, if people's heads nodding, and we'll have Mark work with Denise to do up a new contract and bring to council July 21st, if it's possible, or if not, to the August meeting. Bev, Councillor Cuddy.
If you were to amend the bylaw, then that would not really be opening up the contract, because my concern is when you open the contract and change it, should it not be open to the public then to rebid? If the bylaw was changed, then it's done internally and it's not, you're not touching the contract. I don't know, just wondering.
The contract is part of the bylaw.
So we have to do both.
Yeah, they're one and the
The
same.
bylaw,
The bylaw authorizes council, or the mayor and CEO basically to sign the contract. It's attached as a schedule, so.
Don, Councillor Marshall.
When is the contract up?
It's renewable every year by written consent, basically.
And the bylaws from 2011, so this is year 3, as she said it.
Yeah.
Have we went back out to tender in them last 3 years?
No, I don't believe so. Are you, I'm going to throw this one out there, Don, are you suggesting that redo it this year and then have it up for tender for the 15-16 season? That, maybe flag it that way? And then do it for the, basically the term of council, maybe keep it on that line, okay? All right, well, I think what the direction is, Mark, if you can work with Denise and see whether we can get it done through that way. Okay. The next one, Harold Sutherland Construction, the Redford Pit, looking for a, Sutherlands are looking for a increase in their tonnage limit for the pit for a short period to fulfill a contract that they have on Highway 9. Any questions or comments on that? Mark, do you want to start?
Well, just again to reiterate what's in my report, it did come, that similar request came to council earlier. However, this was for a permanent increase in tonnage. At that time, council did request that a public meeting be held. And again, as the mayor has indicated, this time they're only asking for a 1-year period. So they're, I guess, hoping that council won't require a public meeting. So that's basically what the request is.
Any comments? John, Councillor Eccles.
When you set up a gravel pit, you have some idea what you're going to take out of there, but when you get a big contract, like a highway, I can see where they're coming from. They just want to increase it for a short period of time. They did do some extra work on the road up there instead of they paved it all the way out to the corner, so I wouldn't have a problem with doing this for them for a one-off time.
Okay. Any other comments? Don, Councillor Marshall.
I guess my comment would be is, do they not have gravel in Bruce County? They,
None that's any good.
like this? So this is gonna be a standard request coming forward that the last gravel known in Ontario is in Grey County, and we should be prepared to pass these things randomly.
Well, I'm going to say that I don't know, this isn't just a random thing, you know, it's, as Councillor Eccles has said, they are under contract for doing building and whatnot, supplying the limit within the general area of the pit, you know, 100,000 per year, but when you get a contract that's going to require you for 175,000 roughly, and the number of people that will employ, and there is the contract there that the road will be maintained, I believe, Ken, if it, under that site plan. There will be monitoring on that with the increased traffic, if it does have that.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned about the 4th of Benning, but I'm just wondering where the trucks are planned to keep going westerly from there. Because we do have surface treatment on concession 4 and concession 2 going west. I'm not sure.
Did you indicate the truck?
Truck route,
Oh, is it on?
what's indicated will be coming down across the 4th from the pit to County Road 3, south down 3, and probably going across the 2nd, past the Cedarwell pit and the bypass out north of Hanover. We'll be taking that route. Maybe we can speak to Mr. Sutherland about the increased traffic from County Road 3 to the Cedarwell baseline there, the Cedarwell pit. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I believe there is another proposal coming forward for extension of a permit on concession 2 there too, with the same road that you just mentioned, so I'm sure there's going to have to be upgrades, as I believe their haul route runs westerly from the current pit. So it's just something to keep in mind.
And we've had a pretty good working relationship with those contractors, and the contractors themselves are starting to realize their obligation for that road improvements as well too. Any other comments? Bev?
So they're actually asking us to not ask M&R to hold a public meeting and to extend the tonnage for 1 year, am I correct?
Yeah. M&R wouldn't ask, so the municipality.
Yes.
Agrees.
Yeah, requires public.
My concern with this is that up to the possibility of up to 100 trucks per day. That's a ton of trucks going by. I don't know, like if we just say yes to this and there's this sudden increase in traffic, are the people down there going to be angry? Would they like to have had their say? Are they, you know, do we just...
At this point in my life, I'm not going to anticipate what anybody would say out there in the public. Carol?
Well, I just want to point out the 100 trucks per day, it's on and off for a period of 2 months. It's not the year. And, you know, like it or not, the reality is if you want roads done and built and buildings, you got to have gravel. And where's the gravel? It's here. You know, I understand it's building the Toronto subway again too, so it's just reality. And I guess it's also, it's commerce. They own the property, and, you know, we don't tell other businesses that, no, you can't sell that because somebody might not like it down the road. I wouldn't agree to that forever, but for 1 year, I could agree without a public meeting.
Okay. John, Deputy Mayor Bell.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that regarding Mr., and if you want to talk about Mr. Cedarwell's operation and Mr. Sutherland's, we can't also forget about the fact that a significant bunch of people from West Grey work for Mr. Sutherland, a significant bunch work for Cedarwell, and as Councillor Lawrence says, that's business and commerce. Mr. Sutherland has been a good corporate citizen, and the fact, as Councillor Eccles pointed out, did go above and beyond and do some paving. And yes, we would all like the nice new shiny roads, but they're there for a purpose, and that is to do business and commerce in this part of the world. So moving forward, this is a temporary thing. They say it's about 2 months. If there's a problem, I'm sure Mr. Sutherland, being a very reasonable individual, will hope to make it right. And I have every confidence in that going forward.
Well, we've had a good, there's a motion if somebody wants to. Mark's kind of got it for us. Take a look at it. Don, further.
And when we approved the Murray pit out the road here, we said that the trucks were, we knew they were all heading to Mount Forest. We said they cannot go down concession 2 of Ventic. Can we approve their haul route? That they cannot use concession 2? They have to go down Grey Road 3 to Grey Road 4, across to Hanover. Keep them off our concession 2 so that they're not pounding the crap out of it?
We can, you know, certainly I believe that we can make the request. The idea is that's the bypass to get around Hanover. It's been developed. 28, not as much the second of Bentic, but certainly 28, and then the bypass straight west around there. That's what it was developed for, to get those trucks out and away. If that is the wish of council to make that request there, or is it the wish of council to ask Ken to monitor that, and that any road improvements would come to some agreement with Mr. Sutherland on the road improvements if required, would be the other option that I'd throw out there for you. John? Councillor Eccles?
Well, that road's taking a considerable number of heavy trucks every day as it is, whether they be Cedarwell's gravel trucks or Ken Ray's wheat trucks, or there's a lot of traffic on. There's a lot of traffic on that road now, so adding that extra traffic may shorten the life, but it won't be that dramatic of an effect on the road that's already been used for that purpose.
Okay, before we introduce the motion, what's the wish here on this last issue? Rob, Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, I like your second suggestion. I think if we put them onto Grey Road 4, there's enough traffic on that road now that goes between Durham and Hanover, and you get trucks turning off 3 onto 4. I think you're going to have a real backlog of traffic in there, and it's a lot easier and a lot safer to run them across concession 2. And as you said, have Ken monitor the condition of the roadway and then come to an agreement.
Compromise there? Whoops, I turned it off. Sorry. That seems like a reasonable compromise. Okay. I have a motion moved by John Eccles and seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby supports the request from Harold Sutherland Construction for the approval from the M&R for a 1-year increase in the tonnage limit from 100,000 ton per year to 200,000 ton per year for the Redford Pit for an MTO project on Highway 9 without the need for a public meeting. One thing that's interesting about this is those 2 months, that'll pretty much take the limit of that pit. He's got 100,000 ton per year there right now, but if you got 175, maybe 185,000, what would that be? About 15,000 ton left, so 50 trucks for the rest of the year to haul out that 15,000 ton. So he won't, that'll be the full extended use of that pit for the year. Any questions or comments on the motion? Councillor Rapke, Mark?
Just from our own understanding, so he's just asking that we don't have a meeting. They're making the application to the M&R for the expansion. This is just around having a public meeting or not, right? Everything else will be handled within the context of the original agreement. And yeah, okay, good, thanks.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Mark, your report, the third one. Oh, it's the planning department. Your report, Mark. Your third report is on the request from the county to consider West Grey joining in and getting a template, generic information handouts, and working with the county on source water protection. So, Mark, anything further?
Yeah, council had previously addressed this matter, and it was deferred pending a report that was to come to council from staff. That report has not been completed to date. Given the time frame of the county indicating they wanted expressions of interest by July 11th, therefore being council meeting July 7th, this will be the opportunity for council to provide some comment. And I would certainly suggest that council may want to indicate an interest in their proposal. There is no financial commitment at this time, but I think it would be prudent for council to look at all their options, including this one.
Any other comments, questions on this? The county, with no real water taking aspect, does have funds supplied by the province to do this. And so for the most part, as it states in there, would be the template letters, the forms, and how to get things set up, and working with other municipalities to jointly meet the requirements that are being asked of us by the province. So I think that it's probably the best and most prudent way to attack this source water protection regulations that we have. Any other comments on that? So you do have a resolution there, Mark, to say that we will join in, as in the report. Chatsworth, and I understand Grey Highlands, their last council meeting, in talking to the mayor the other night, and George and Bluffs are very interested in it as well too. And the deputy mayor and I guess will get more clear understanding where everybody is going. We have county council tomorrow, so. I have a motion moved by Carol Lawrence and seconded by David Molson. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby authorizes municipal council to authorizes municipal staff to forward a letter to the County of Grey Planning Department expressing interest in participating in the RMI in the box Source Protection Plan initiative, with the caveat that no financial commitment is provided for at this stage. Any further comments or questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Anything else, Mark? Okay, any questions for Mark this time? Nope, that's it. Okay, bylaws. We have 3 bylaws this morning, Mark. No, Ken, that part of the staff was, both were on holidays last week, so they really didn't have a lot for us today. But as you can see by their faces, they're very refreshed and keen to really spend the next month with their nose right on the grindstone, Mr. Bell.
Happy, 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 good.
Have those motions there. We'll start when we get them back in.
When we're doing
Yeah.
Franklin,
Franklin. It's east, yeah, I saw that.
Okay. We'll adjust those.
tell me if the councilors don't read their...
Enter the Canal Call. Okay. The first bylaw to be introduced is a bylaw number 50, dealing with appointments to committees. And we've had a couple of individuals pass away that we're getting there. And you want to note that, Mark? That
Actually, I just wanted to mention a few others. The original bylaw that was sent out, then I did leave one on your table. The difference between the one that was emailed and the one on the table was that there's one amending bylaw missed, which was brought to my attention. So in essence, Shelby Lothar, Tammy Lothar, Brian Zettler were added to the Newstead Rec Advisory Committee, and then Tammy Lothar was deleted from the Newstead Rec Advisory Subcommittee. And then there was a Mary Zettler, but we've added Mary Alice Zettler, and then as well Mary Teresa Zettler was added to the Newstead Rec Subcommittee. Who would know, 2 Mary Zettlers? And then at the same time, Delana Culleton was at first requested to be both on the committee and the subcommittee, and then it was determined that she was only going to be on the Normanby subcommittee, so her name has been deleted from the advisory committee. And then as well, Lucy Lindner's name is on the Lamlash Hall committee, and of course Lucy unfortunately has passed away. And then Franklin, which was mentioned just a moment ago.
and Franklin Jackson. So, okay, with those amendments and understanding, introduce the bylaw. It's moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Don B. Marshall. Be it resolved that bylaw number 50, 2014, being a bylaw to further amend bylaw number 12, 2014, being a bylaw to appoint officials and citizens to various committees, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed as amended, and numbered, and the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. The next bylaw is bylaw number 51. It's a bylaw to stop up and close a road. And Mark, do you have any comments before we introduce?
Yeah, so the County of Grey is selling a portion of their property to the TDL Group, otherwise known as Tim Hortons, in Durham. And it was discovered in that process that the Albert Street or portions of Albert Street within that county property had not been properly closed and transferred. And then also there were 2 portions of Albert Street on the now 2 residential lots that comprise that little strip of residential lots just to the east of Tim Hortons. So it was requested that the municipality formally stop up and close the road and then just retroactively confirm the transfer from the town of Durham to the then Portland Cement Company. Now, this bylaw will have to be registered, so there will be a cost incurred. That cost was discussed by the Alliance lawyer, which is dealing with the county. I do see an email from our lawyer, Jennifer Schwass of Johnson & Schwass, indicating that we could save some money if we request the county to register the bylaw. So I would like direction from council. Technically, the former municipality that now comprises West Grey perhaps did not close the road, which should have been done. So there could be some discussion whether or not the municipality should incur that cost because that wasn't done at that time. But I guess nothing ventured, nothing gained, perhaps.
This goes back to the old thing, if you don't ask, you know absolutely what the answer is going to be. If you ask, you might have a choice here. I don't think that the county is getting a tremendous amount of revenue from the sale of the property, but it is the sale of their property. My suggestion is it never hurts to ask the county to come forward. They have larger resources there on the legal aspect of it, so maybe we could ask them. That'd be fine. Anybody got any opposition to asking the county to register it? Nope. Okay. I'll see how the Corporate Services Committee takes that next Tuesday. Have a motion moved by David Molson, seconded by Mark Rapke. Be it resolved that bylaw number 51, 2014, being a bylaw to stop up and close part of a municipal road described as Albert Street between South Street East and Elizabeth Street on Plan 510 in the town of Durham. Albert Street being part of property identification numbers 37320-0171 LT and 37320-0172 LT and 37320-0175 LT, and to confirm a previous sale involving the said municipal road be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor, the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. So any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. And the next one is bylaw to accept a couple of pieces of property into our municipal road highway system. Any comments on this, Mark? Generally.
Yes, once in a while we come across this where there is road winding done and the bylaw wasn't completed and or registered on title. This is probably discovered upon the sale of one of those properties, and therefore Mr. McGarry, Michael McGarry, was the lawyer for, I gather, one of the proposed purchasers, and so Ian has suggested that council should proceed to pass the bylaw to officially accept the subject road winding into the part of the road system for West Grey.
Okay. Any further comments before I introduce the bylaw? It does happen. I have a motion moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that bylaw number 52, 2014, being a bylaw to assume part lots 67 and 68, concession 3 EGR, parts 1 and 2 RP 17R839, former township of Glenelg, into the municipal highway system, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Any other bylaws, Mark? So that's it for bylaws. New business. New business. Ms. Cutting.
Yes, just wondering if council wishes to ask the West Grade Parks Committee if they're willing to work on and put a float in the 2 homecomings that you're suggesting, and if so, what are the dates? And I need to find out themes, I suppose, because homecomings usually have a theme.
The dates. Let's see, August 30th is the one in Elmwood, and is it not Saturday, August the 2nd for the one in Hanover?
Yes, it is. Hanover, August the 2nd.
It's the Hanover homecoming. Is August 2nd and August 30th, 4 Saturdays later for the Elmwood homecoming.
Do we know the themes or no?
That would be seen in 214. That would be seen in 214. That was the one in, I don't know whether it's a glass bubble that we're talking about here in Elmwood.
Okay.
The one in Hanover, I'm not sure. Well, they do have a website.
Yep. So I'll make that request to the Parks Committee. I don't know, there is some health issues, etc., but I can ask them and get back to you.
Okay. Is there some funding? How's council going to do to fund that? Carrie's left. No funds available. There, I think, as we're very much aware, and I think it's okay, Mark, we have either $2,000 or $2,500 in that discretionary council that is still there. It hasn't been touched this year. So what does council feel on the Santa Claus parade ones? Was it $200, give or take, to do those ones?
Wasn't a lot.
No.
There's lots of things that can be used that are, you know,
Do we want to put an ups? I'm going to suggest,
on it, yeah,
so that Dave can hear that, and our audience out there, what you're going to suggest. You'll turn your microphone on, Ms. Cunning?
that's why it's off. There's 2 parades, but I suppose they're going to be used the same, so they won't be using fresh flowers because it won't last. So I don't know, 250 for both of them, up to.
That sounds good.
Is that okay?
You won't get that type of advertising in any of the
No.
newsprints that are out there at $250.
Okay. I will email them today and see if that's a possibility.
Carol?
Are you finished with that one?
I was just going to say, Mark, do you want that done as kind of a motion or just direction? Direction in the minutes? Okay. I think we're done with that one. Carol?
Thank you.
Next new
Again,
business.
on parks, my request during our communication period was that a letter be sent to parks expressing our appreciation for the wonderful job they're doing and the many hours that are volunteer hours that are being put in.
You had mentioned on Sunday, but I did see Steve and Trish on Saturday night as well, too. It was probably 8 or 9 o'clock at night. They
Every
were
night, and all day.
working away. Yep. So, okay. If that's okay with council, we'll get a letter out and of appreciation to them. All right. Mr. Deputy Clerk, Mr. CEO, Larry, I think has one thing.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I also have an article that I'd like to bring forward at this point in time. We were approached late last month by a business entity from the municipality in regards to the possibility of renting some space from us. After discussion and a meeting with that individual, it was confirmed that they would be interested in renting dry storage from us at the former Rona site for the months of July till the end of, I believe it's the end of October, 4-month period, for a rental fee of approximately $250 per month. And with council's endorsement, I'd be happy to write that up and get that document signed and brought back to council at a future meeting if that's acceptable with council.
Okay. So what Larry's suggesting is to work out an agreement. It's very minimal space that the individual wants, but certainly help out our one of our business owners. So unless I see any upraising negativity, I see mostly thumbs up for that one. So got direction there, Larry, to go ahead and bring forward a contract for us. Okay, very good. Any other new business? Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. I've had a request from the Snowmobile Club in Durham to inquire in regards to the roadway that runs through South Street East to Concession 1 in the former township of Elgin, and they were wondering if it's possible. We had a map. I had a map from Councillor Molson, and I showed it to them where there is a road access through there, but there's a line as you come off South Street on the map at Elgin Street. We're not sure what that indicates, whether that's a closed section or is owned by someone else, and we're wondering about a legal opinion in regards to that roadway. They were inquiring about a new trail system which would lead them into gas and so on in the south end of town, and I said I would bring it forward today and asked if we could get a legal opinion. It's my understanding there's a possibility of a subdivision going in to the east of that location and in that area, so maybe a good idea to know if we actually do own that roadway that goes through the former Saugeen Road Spraying pit area.
So you're suggesting the one South Street going east?
Yes. Yes, to Concession 1. The road allowance through there. The map that we had looked at during when we were at the trail committee indicates that there is a roadway that is there. However, it's been gated and fenced and everything else over the past few years, and apparently the municipality owns that. We're just wondering about a legal opinion about it. I've spoken to Mark about it.
Yeah, there's the other one. Do we want to, does council want to get an opinion on that? We just found out that we just closed up Albert Street, so. And I thought we'd done that, what was that, 100 years ago? Go ahead, Rob.
Just to add one more, on the south line, off concession one, at the curve there, it does go west, and I talked to the president of the Snowmobile Club, he has walked through there, but it does line up with Douglas Street at the south end of Durham. But however, there's a fairly large pond on the road allowance that's in there, so they want to avoid that area because of the pond that's been built there, or extension on it, so.
There's the other road allowance that extends, is it Park Street? That extends out there and comes into the industrial park as well, too. We want to get, are you asking for an opinion on both? And coming with revenue from the ATV club?
This is the Snowmobile Club that's
Oh,
asking,
Snowmobile Club.
nothing to do with the ATV Club, but from my understanding, I believe they're going to be working together. It's finally happening throughout, it's been a problem throughout the province where the two clubs don't get along, and this is a start for them to start working together. So this is just initial. They want to know if it's possible. They may find other alternative routes, but if we can access that area through there, and I know they have been using it during the winter, and the fence has been taken down, but I understand there's been a problem now with the owners of that so-called pit in there.
Any opinions or comment from anybody on council? Carol?
I just think you need maybe a legal opinion. My understanding was always we acquired it in the not too distant past, that one roadway through Saugeen or DSP. I had no time I'd ever heard that the municipality owned South Street through there. Because apparently years and years and years ago, they gave up all of the road allowances in there in return for the use of the artesian well. And if you look at this map, you can see closed on all those. And that it's not South Street that we had. It kind of zooms, you know, kind of goes through like that.
That's on Park Street, yeah.
Yeah. But I know someone would have to, you're talking south.
Yeah, right off southeast,
Yeah.
South Street East, and right past, well, just south of the hydro station there on
Yeah, I know what you
Elgin
mean.
Street.
Yeah.
That access
Going
through
straight
there. I
east.
know it
To
weaves
Tim
and carries the pond, yeah. Just to find out if we do own any of it.
Well, somebody would have to do some investigation for us.
It would take some legal at the
Yeah.
registry office. Mark? You're itching there to hit the
Well,
microphone,
I
so
just think, so Mark, you've already looked at all this and you just, I'm trying to define what we're asking. So you've looked and you can't ascertain if we own that property, is that the issue? I'm just asking if you've checked or not yet.
Well, we did, as Councillor Thompson indicated, we did look at a map, and it's the easterly portion of South Street that then bisects with, which road is it again? Kincardine. And there are some properties that seem to intrude onto the 66-foot road allowance, so they may not be quite the full width of that road allowance. So we'd have to determine exactly where those properties legally are positioned in terms of if there's still access or if even limited access, as it does seem to, as I say, there seems to be some odd foot fabrics impeding under the 66-foot width of the unopened road allowance.
So is that an advantage for the municipality to know, or is this going to be an advantage just so for the benefit of the snowmobile club?
It'd be a benefit of the municipality if the municipality thinks benefiting the snowmobile club or the ATV club, whatever, is a benefit to the municipality as a whole, I guess, put it that way.
I'm just trying to think, do we have any idea what the cost of that would be, or are we just going to lump it in with the other thing? I'm just wondering who should pay for it, I guess is where I'm tossed around in my head.
yeah, it'd be $1,000, but it probably would put, the other aspect is coming out onto concession 1. User access out onto concession 1. I have no clue who is sold or how far that road goes out, because that's into Glenelg, and did it ever go out to Glenelg, or has some of those lots that are south off of County Road 4, the southern part of those ones, did Glenelg sell them off, and no access, there'd be no access out on a concession 1. But then there is the other factor, if we have some interest in development, residential and commercial development in behind Rockwood Terrace and in that area as well too, so it may be the time just to find out what is municipally owned and where access, when we get into the planning aspect of it, where the accesses do come under the municipality. So can I suggest that Mark maybe contact our legal and see what we do have on South Street there? Okay? So we don't get another 100-year surprise. Okay? All right, Rob? Anything else under new business? No? Okay. I'll bring that one up under committee work. Probably get that one done under that. Okay, addendums. Don't believe there's any addendums. Notice of motion or direct motion. Don't believe there's any. That brings us down then to, there's no closed session required at this point. Question period. At this point, we have any time that individuals in the audience would like to ask a question on anything. And Adam's got his hand up from behind the microphones.
I don't have a question, but the City Council's fine since I have Hanover. It's Hanover Hometown Memories, so
Oh, thank you.
well, the same time for you guys.
Research on that computer is, you're multitasking back there. Thank you, Adam. Mr. Wetlaufer.
I'm just wondering if West Gray has been, or making you aware that the Ontario Federation of Agriculture is approaching the new government on having agriculture made part of the legislation regarding roads. So going forward, that would mean that bridges would have to be able to accommodate agricultural machinery, not only on bridges but also on roundabouts. Something for you to think. And the other thing is, the mayor and I have had the discussion. I think you need to be cognizant of the fact that the Great Lakes Protection Act is going to supersede all other. That includes source water protection and nutrient management and anything thereof. That should be fun also.
And I don't know how we'll be affected by that, to the effect that obviously we have no boundaries that are on the Great Lakes, but we do have a river system that feeds the Great Lakes, and how that will trickle back to us on.
And I would agree with you that how it will affect West Gray, I don't know, but it's always amazing how things do when you don't expect.
You don't think that you're involved until lawyers get questioning, and then all of a sudden you're dragged in. John?
We have to be careful when we get down to the Agricultural Transportation Act, because we may be forced into doing what they do in Europe, and all agricultural equipment is forced to be the same width as every other vehicle on the road.
Maybe that's not going to, it's not imminent, but I'm thinking with what's being asked of agriculture, that's going to happen. What happens in Europe happens here.
Yes, it seems to get transferred across the Atlantic. One time it took it 4 weeks for a boat, but now it takes 4 milliseconds to get across the information. Okay. No other questions? We're good. Any other questions from council at this point in time? We have a Committee of Adjustment meeting. Mark's timing is off slightly. We'll have to wait until 12:15 for that, but can get, as Carrie said, maybe our our council timesheets done up and have them submitted. So for any of those on the planning committee or committee of adjustment. If that is all, Mr. Mollison gives me number 20. Oh, before I take Mr. Mollison's, our CEO, Larry. Sorry, Larry.
I apologize to you, Your Worship. Under new business, I should have brought this up, but the request from council in regards to 5 delegations at AMO have gone in. They went in after we received that. I did get a phone call back from one of the ministries indicating that traditionally they do not get back to us until the week before the conference, but the staff will be preparing for the likelihood that we may get one or all of those presentations, and if we do, I'll advise council as soon as they come in. So I just want to confirm that those applications had gone in, or requests had gone in. Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Larry. And just to you, Mr. Wetlaufer, that is not a new government in Queen's Park. That's a re-elected government in Queen's Park. Dave. Dave, are you moving that we adjourn?
Absolutely.
I'll accept that as a moment to adjourn, and we'll reconvene on the 21st or until we're called again. Thank you.